If you've been watching Path of Exile 2 feedback videos, and some notable content creators like Crip and Zizarin have talked about this recently, you probably think that I'm about to talk about armor, considering the fact that I am a level 90 Titan. I've been playing Warrior. I was kind of a Warrior advocate from the beginning, and I've been stacking armor. You would think that obviously, the Warrior guy is probably about to shit on how annoying it is that armor is not that good. Actually, this is not the topic of the video. Or if you've been watching the live streams recently and watched me play my mage, in which we tested out with my buddy over there from Starforge, Magic Find. You can see I have 184% Magic Find, and I can actually get even higher off this build. You're probably thinking about to talk about the Magic Find problem, as that has been a very notable discussion. I do have feelings on Magic Find, but actually no, this actually isn't my biggest issue at all with the game. Funny enough, he literally sent me the message as soon as I logged in. Get more Magic Find, loser. Now, when you're playing through Path of Exile, from the very beginning of the game, they have quests that are on the side here that kind of tell you where to go and what to do. And if you open up your map, it's got these handy dandy little spikes here to sort of show you where to go. And they even mentioned in interviews that they wanted people to be able to feel the freedom to explore, but have direction and know what they're supposed to do if they feel like they're stuck. So they have these skulls on the map that will literally show you where you can go to get additional bonuses. So when I'm playing through a character, I know, what am I supposed to do? Complete the Trial Master's Challenge, travel to the Molten Vault, enter the time portal, and I can actually click on these and they'll basically straight up show me on the map like where these different quests are located. Now, this helps with a sense of progression or meaning to my character, or at least it's the campaign, so I know I'm supposed to go here and do this. Basically, I don't feel confused. I know what there is to achieve, how I'm supposed to achieve that, and I can just either choose to do some of the side stuff or choose not to do it, but there's a main purpose that I'm supposed to go in the direction in which I'm supposed to go. Now, once you get to Endgame, they continue this sense of purpose. You get to Endgame and you still have Doriani here, which gives you quests. It says, like, for instance, this is my SSF monk here. I'm level 82, complete tier 9 maps. I'm 3 out of the 8 of these. So I go on here and I complete these maps. But there is one even more critical objective that he gives you. They have this right here, this burning monolith in the middle. In fact, it's such a big objective that no matter where you are, there's a little skull that points you in the direction of the burning monolith. In fact, it's such a big deal that they even have 3 different quests that say travel to each of these citadels, the iron, the copper, and the stone citadel. Once you've completed your maps, these are basically the last quests that you have in the game. So you have a goal in Endgame, one that is very vocally, clearly directed at you. Go find the citadels, and you're going to have these because the Pinnacle of the Flame says obtain the 3 Christ fragments, and you have the 3 citadels here, and then you'll finish the maps before you find the citadels, and that's where we come to the crux of my biggest issue currently in the game. The citadels on the map in Endgame are completely RNG. There is no sense of direction at all. Once you actually get to maps and you're like, okay, I want to continue my quest. There is no way, there's no direction, there's no go left, go right, there's no arrow, there is no nothing. It is literally go to the map and just randomly pick a direction and hope you run into a citadel. Now, you might be playing the game and ran into plenty of these and think to yourself, I don't really understand why this is a complaint. Just play the game, you're going to come across them. Especially once you say, well, DM, your character's only level 82. You don't have that much of the map uncovered. I don't really understand your complaint. This isn't a big deal. Well, my friend, if I log on to my level 90 or my level 88, they're in the same league and therefore share the same atlas. You will notice I have only found 1 citadel on the quest line here on the right-hand side. And I could show you this whole map that I've uncovered, and we could spend a while here of me going and zooming around all of this, or I could do /played and show you the play time on all of the different characters, okay? But you're just gonna have to believe me, because I don't feel the need to actually prove this one. I've played the game like a degenerate since the launch of the game. I have basically only ever seen 1 citadel, and I have plenty of people that have told me they've played a very long period of time and have found exactly 0 citadels in the game. This is the 1 citadel I have found. This guy right here. Now, when you find one of these, you have 1 attempt to defeat it. If you do not succeed and you die, this citadel is now gone. You cannot go back in and reattempt it, as it is a map. And much like the maps, you have one attempt to do these, or you lose the bonus of the map. And this bonus of the map just happens to be one of the 3 fragments that you need. Keep in mind, I still have to find 2 more citadels. Okay, I still have to find 2 more of these, and they're completely RNG. And I have to not drop any of the other 2 maps we find, and I have to hope, because these can repeat, that I don't find the same citadel again. Then, when you go to fight the Burning Monolith, the man has multiple one-shots that will one-shot you. Now, I'm not complaining about the one-shots. I understand it's the pinnacle boss and I need to get good. I get that part, okay? But you have gate-kept of 3 citadels that are RNG that you can't die on to attempt a boss that has one-shots that you basically need prior knowledge in order to understand how the boss even works. And then we have the only quest in the game that doesn't have any sense of direction at all. It is literally RNG, and you're running across the map in just any way. Maybe there's some pre-programmed layout that we haven't quite figured out yet, but for intents and purposes of the player, this is basically fully RNG. I go out in whatever direction. I hope I run into a citadel. I hope I don't mess it up even once. If I do, God help you. I have over 200 hours into mapping, and I've found 1 of these. This basically just boils down to like borderline unplayable content, depending upon how lucky you are to find these things. Now, in the original Path of Exile 1, as you're going through the mapping system and you're completing, beat your tier 10 maps, beat your tier 12 maps, etc., they will give you like smaller bosses. It's like, oh, you're done with the tier 12s. When you beat that, you're going to get like this invite basically from completing the maps that give you automatically a boss fight to accomplish. And those boss fights have multiple attempts for you to be able to go into it. And if you fail it, let's say you fail all 6 of your portals, because you basically have 6 lives to go in, then what happens is the very next map you beat, you get an invite once again. And they have like quest versions of each of the different pinnacle boss. In this game, the pinnacle bosses that are not the mechanics of like Delirium or Breach, like mapping mechanic bosses, there's only 1 in-game pinnacle boss at the moment. I know it's early access, probably change, they'll probably add in more bosses, but at the moment, the only early access pinnacle boss that's not tied to a mapping mechanic is the Arbiter, and it's complete RNG, and you only have 1 attempt on all of the pieces and 1 attempt on the actual boss itself, and there's no mechanic if you fail that, okay, go back out, find 1 more citadel, and you get all 3 of the pieces. No, my friend. You have to go find all 3 of the pieces again and hope you don't run into the same citadels again. So you kind of feel like in the in-game, you're just wandering aimlessly. And I know it's maps and the purpose of mapping is just to farm the game, and that's good. Path of Exile 2's in-game and mapping is like kind of the standard that people want, but because they've associated it with the Atlas, in which it is sort of a world, and they specifically want you to feel the feeling of exploration. This is something that was vocally, fairly clearly communicated by them previous to the game coming out. They want you to feel like you're exploring an actual world, and that's how they're doing the Atlas. That sense of exploration they got, but instead I'm exploring blind, completely with a blindfold over my eyes. I can't see where I'm going because I am exploring just completely randomly and just hoping to God that the next tower I uncover will just show me a citadel. I think there's very easy solutions to this, honestly. I'm not worried about this being a permanent problem because I think this should change, and I'm assuming this will change at the moment. This is probably like their first iteration of it. You could literally have an arrow, sort of like you do when you move the Burning Monolith that says go this way, that just point towards the citadel. I actually straight up don't know a single reason why the citadel is being secret. Has to be a thing. Maybe they don't want you to farm a ton of attempts and just use tier 1 maps to run straight there. You still have to beat the citadel. You still only have 1 attempt. The Arbiter, you still only have 1 attempt as well. And very often, these citadels can be very far away. I mean, the first citadel I found, it's not close, my dude. It was all the way over here somewhere. I mean, hell, it's going to take me a while even to find the damn thing. So you would still have to do like a lot of mapping even to get there. And on top of it, by the time you've got strong enough where you could just push out quickly and farm these, then you're kind of trying to attempt pinnacle bosses literally anyway, and you're still going to have to do, if you fail the Citadel, you're still going to have to farm a lot more maps. So I don't see a reason why we can't have something indicating where to go. It's set in the precedent of all of the previous quests. This is the only pinnacle boss in the game. I think it was Zizarin in the video said that why not just have the towers, and when you clear the tower, like points you in the direction of a Citadel or something, you could do that. It would fit thematically with the concept of the tower. Or honestly, really just anything at all. Because I find myself, I have a level 88 mapper, which I could go farm a bunch of, items with my rarity character. I have a bosser in my Titan, but I don't have the motivation to, even though as someone who's literally a all-day streamer, that gets paid to play the game, basically, with the characters that, are for the content, I don't have the motivation to go out here and farm these Citadels. Realistically, the best thing to do currently is to farm the currency and just buy the fragments over the trade, which I don't like that solution. Now, I could go through some of the other pinnacle bosses. I feel like the breach boss is fairly accessible, a decent value. You can farm enough splinters. I could go through some, the accessibility of some of the other pinnacle bosses. Really, I think these will be tuned as well. For me, the core crux of it is this one, the Burning Monolith, the Arbiter, the primary pinnacle boss that you literally have you have 4 quests that points you in the direction of this boss, should be something that you have access to as a player. And it isn't even once you beat it once, you're done. That's just not how this boss actually works. It's designed to be farmed like all of the bosses. If you actually look at your Atlas tree, literally, you get points for these. You get a whole tree. So you beat them once, you get 2 points, and you can go Arbiter difficulty, Arbiter difficulty, Arbiter. You have to kill them a bunch of times. So it is designed to be farmed in every way except getting the pieces of material you need to actually farm him. So I would absolutely love to engage with this mechanic more. But in order to do it, they're asking me to play for literally hundreds of hours without failing any of the things, and that's with my current RNG. There might be some people that play 10 hours and got 3 Citadels. I don't know. That you could exist out there. If you do, God bless you. But for as much as I've played this game, and being able to actually see what the current rate is for me on my Atlas tree, and that's the other thing, all my characters are tied to the same Atlas here, right? The odds of me getting a Citadel are extremely low, to the point of hundreds of hours per Citadel at the moment, and I just don't have the motivation in me to chase that outside of economically chasing. So the best way for me to do this is to literally stack rarity, play with a friend, make as much currency as possible, and then use that currency to purchase the fragments in order to actually get the Citadel itself. So for me, that's my biggest point of feedback. I sure hope this changes, because I would love to interact with the pinnacle bosses more. I find the fights to be typically very enjoyable. I mean, the unique bosses in this game are great, but once you get into the in-game and you get to the point you basically just one-shot all these bosses, is sort of the in-game of it. So I would like to actually engage with the pinnacle boss fights that are actual boss fights, like the breach boss. Fucking awesome. Okay, really good fight. I lost to him multiple times. I was able to beat him. Huzzah, great moment. You still have other iterations of him to fight, etc. But this pinnacle in particular, the one the game is actively telling me to pursue, just feels basically unachievable outside of just getting lucky with the Citadel showing up. So that's my feelings on the matter. You're welcome to disagree, but for me, that is currently the thing that's killing the motivation to play in the in-game. That's about it.